As we've been mentioning, megawatt Hollywood A-lister and mega Biden donor George Clooney. He's the latest big-name Dem to drop Joe Biden. Now, this just weeks after he hosted a swanky campaign event in Los Angeles alongside Julia Roberts and Barack Obama that brought in $30 million. Now, remember when Obama helped Biden off the stage? You're going to see it there in a minute. The liberal media went bonkers when it was even suggested that Joe Biden needed some help. Clearly now we know he does. Here's what Clooney said in his op-ed that came out in the New York Times today. I love Joe Biden, but we need a new nominee. He goes on to say, it's devastating to say it, but the Joe Biden I was with 3 weeks ago at the fundraiser was not the Joe big effing deal Biden of 2010. He wasn't even the Joe Biden of 2020. He was the same man we all witnessed at the debate. I mean, again, drop the mic there. Clooney is just the latest Hollywood Dem to jump on the "it's time to go, Joe" bandwagon. Over the last week, thanks for laughing, Vickie, Rob Reiner, Stephen King, Michael Moore, and Jon Stewart, they've all called for the president to leave the race for the good of the country. And then, have you seen the clip? George Stephanopoulos, lifetime Dem ABC host, he conducted that very important, or was supposed to be important, interview for Joe Biden over the weekend. Didn't leave Biden looking very good, even though it was on tape. And then he was caught on the street saying this.
What do you think? Do you think Biden should step down? You talk to him more than anybody else have lately. And you can be honest. You don't think he can serve 4 more years?
Yeah. All right. Joining me to discuss, Newsmax correspondent Christina Thompson and New York City Councilwoman Vickie Paladino. Vickie, you said it best when we first sat down. You said there's so much to talk about. It is hard to narrow it down. But first, we've mentioned George Clooney throughout the show, but I really want to drill down on this because this is not just a big celebrity. This is a longtime Democratic donor. He's gotten a lot of money for Joe Biden. And now this may signal to other big donors, all right, if Clooney's out, I'm out. So this is more than, oh, who cares what a celeb thinks. We're talking about cash.
Right. Well, we've been talking about cash now for the last 2 weeks. We've watched donors just drop to the side. And again, I was laughing because the shock and awe over Joe Biden's condition, for it to all of a sudden become, mainstream news, this is like sabotage, what they did to the American people. This is no surprise. If it didn't surprise us, why is it surprising them? It's because of the Democratic message that they insist on putting forward. And when I think about George Clooney, my first thought was, what do I care and what do others care, like us, average Americans, what George Clooney thinks? You see, this they put themselves up on this pedestal, these ivory tower liberals, and they think they really matter. But you see, they don't matter because now we're watching them all circle the drain and go down. Yes. And I think it's going to be a riot. I think it's well worth the watch.
Yeah, I mean, the Democrats have put themselves in this position, Christina, and it's interesting, though, how we're now seeing people you would never expect would come out and suggest that Joe Biden shouldn't run again. They're coming out.
Well, what you were saying, his opinion might not matter, but that paycheck, that check that he signs, that really matters, right? And we're seeing Joe Biden right now. He's losing New York. He's down in the polls. He won by a landslide last election cycle, and it doesn't appear that that's going to happen again. But with George Clooney saying he doesn't want Joe Biden to be the nominee, I mean, that's huge, especially since the only people that Joe Biden seems to care about in New York State are the wealthy donors. He comes here, he goes to Manhattan, he goes to the Hamptons, he goes to his friend's multi-million dollar townhome, in Upper Manhattan, Upper East Side. Those are the only people he cares about because he wants the money.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And you go ahead, you were about to say something.
Now you get to the money part of it. Back not long ago, this guy's got $200 million, Biden. And we had an opportunity. The American way of doing things is a primary. And we had RFK. Now that's a Kennedy. Right. They literally chucked a Kennedy for a corpse. Now they could have ran a primary. That's right. And put RFK in against Joe Biden. They chose not to. They were that sure of Joe Biden. Come on.
They got themselves in a really tough
Yeah, they got
spot.
themselves in a really tight spot.
Yeah, all right. It's going to be interesting again. Even one of our political analysts, Mark Halperin, who has been saying there's no way that Biden is not running. Today he said, there's a chance he's not running. So that was a big flip.